really, and that's fine, he's either really busy and or he doesn't want to do business. Anybody know somebody? I'm not really hard to deal with. Hey,
We're live, so
oh.
just so don't.
If you know someone, get in touch with me. I need someone to.
I just don't want anyone saying, "Oh, you don't want so and so."
So this is another televised. Everything we got.
Well, keep a good record.
Transparency, you know.
Move back north again, huh?
My wife says we're going, so we can't.
Oh, Jesus.
Just too hot down there.
Yeah, I know. I've been down there a lot. It's,
Oh, yeah,
flat.
it's where?
Nice and hard and stuff.
No, I was in Georgia for 4.5 years, Savannah, and then Hilton Head for 3.5 years.
And the last weekend doesn't seem like it's a lot warmer here than it would have been in Florida though.
A lot worse down there with the humidity.
It was pretty thick here though, last weekend.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
it's kinda.
Today it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been pumped up.
People say it's brutal in Florida. You know, there's a couple months here where it's pretty good.
Introduce yourself, if you would.
Troy Demir from the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Here's Diane.
Oh, you're Mr. Paganelli. Nice to meet you.
Paul Marino, CBA.
Ron Joe, ZBA.
I know you, Mr. Oh, how you doing?
Good, yourself?
Good.
Ron, I'm Charlene Boy, I'm P and Z.
Yeah, I worked with your boys up there, Mr. Paganelli.
Yeah.
Good crew you got. You did very well. I was hoping you had
Introduce
some
yourself.
show.
Again, bud. How are you? Good. I'm on a fair up there.
Not very well, but.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Driving the road, see what other people are getting every day.
All right.
Dragged out of the lake or the office? Dragged you out of the lake?
The lake. We have to motor in water so often.
Watch things grow.
Two bridges, little mountain road, water line, and all my paving projects. Busy.
Get a great word.
Yeah, one was right on Mountain Road, and then the other one was on River Place. Big job. We're on the bridge, and they bought everybody's house on that road. I was just get everybody 200,000 over the cost of their house, and they'll all move, and you can close the road
That
down.
should be it, because we got some.
Doesn't
I don't
work
know how
that
many.
way.
Is Craig coming through?
Great, he called, got a,
Sure, how you doing? How you doing? Good to see you.
last minute.
So we got a circle and we got
Yeah,
mics.
that's fine. All we're gonna do is have a conversation, see if we can, shortchange some of the duplicate efforts.
Yeah.
Favor of the applicants.
Oh, you been there?
I'll come hang out with you.
Thank you. I'm trying to start a trend.
What's that?
I'm trying to start a trend.
Yeah. That's all of us girls.
Anything from those guys?
Unless they came in today.
Now it's a week or
So let's give it through the weekend, and then on Monday I'll call them.
No, my final prints should be done next week. I gotta get them down here for the review and pull the permits. I hired the demo contractor,
He'd stop and say there's your permit.
Mountaintop.
This canvas, they told
And I've told him he can start getting, you know, it's an arduous process for that, if you've ever done it. You gotta get letters from every utility. Like, you gotta get a letter from Yankee Gas, even though there's no gas on Highland Lake, but you still gotta get the letter.
So not today, I
Right.
haven't gone outside.
So they're starting that whole process, with the exception of the electricity, because I don't wanna cut the power off of there until I have my building permit. Once I have the building permit, we'll tear it down and get started, but, I had a couple excavators I'm talking to, but I can't really do much more till I get my final prints. Then I can really engage all these guys and start getting things lined up, so. I was talking to one contractor, big paving and excavation company, and he goes, yeah, we've slowed down a bit. How are you?
Fill up the spaces in there.
Good. Pull them right now.
I think whenever you can make yourself comfortable, we'll get a conversation going here. Yeah.
You want to get everybody around here, right?
So that we've got, finally we can hear everybody. We might as well get going here. We've got a couple members that have some conflicts, so I don't think that they're gonna show, well, when I know is.
Yeah, fill the seats there.
How are you, Steve? Any place.
I'm the younger guy, I'll sit in the front of the chair.
I think there's plenty of chairs though.
Jeff.
Ron, come on up. We want to get everybody up here.
Yeah.
Steve, how are you?
Good, you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Was in this chair last night.
Was it last night? Night before?
Night before, whatever night it was.
Reapplied.
You have, Andy, you have names?
I do. I'm doing it,
Nobody else is gonna take.
Rollins?
yeah. Just give it 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
I feel like I'm on trial.
I was gonna say, nobody else being there.
Plead not guilty.
Okay, that didn't work.
I've been there a few times. Not a good one.
Did you go to Vegas? Did you ever go to Vegas?
No,
You never went, huh?
I went there twice, but I
You never went?
didn't find anything we wanted. And then I went to Tennessee, and I almost bought a house in Tennessee, and then I stayed there with the top, and I go,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So now I bought a place up on the lake.
Now you're definitely on trial.
Huh?
Now you're definitely on trial.
Yeah, thanks, Felix.
Isn't it a fact?
Nobody else comes.
Doesn't he?
Not much. What are you doing?
You end up selling everything you
Yeah,
got
no,
there?
Rick Kelly and everything.
Even you got the business personal.
Sold business in
How long
19,
is it?
the house in 20.
So your head does.
Bodies are floating
That's good. How are you?
You know what that's a sign of. Yeah, you know?
Okay, we've got, it's 4 o'clock, so, I appreciate everybody coming in. It's a special meeting that we wanted to call to talk about the, kind of the overlap of what we're doing. I mean, to your board too, Steve, you know, you've got stuff that you handle around, especially around the lake, it's critical, anything over 15%. But if you're handling it, it's something that's there, and you got the documentation that we really should have, and, engineering sheets and so forth, why does it have to come to us too? Because then you got that, at least 2 public hearing things that we're talking the same subject matter. So, I mean, it's the same regulation you're dealing with as far as that part of it goes. So we talked about, well, maybe there's some other things that you could bring up. I mean, do you agree with that?
I think it's healthy to have a meeting
Yeah.
and sort of hash out, your thoughts, our thoughts, all thoughts, and
It's funny, George, just impervious alone at the lake goes to 3 of us. It goes to wetlands, goes to you, goes to us. Right, I mean, you don't see every one of them, we do. Wetlands and ZBA sees every project that's gonna have impact on impervious coverage, or pervious coverage is, seen by at least two of the boards, right now. So that's an overlap. But I guess, I don't know, so for ZBA, let's say they come to you first, Wetlands approves it based on the building plans, would we then not take impervious into consideration as part of the ZBA look?
Only if it's over 15%, or over 20 with LID. If, they come before wetlands and they're making some, stormwater improvements, then they can get up to 20%. As soon as they creep over 20%, they're coming to you.
Everything that comes to us as far as impervious, we're trying to cut it back down. And naturally, if somebody's coming in and wants an addition, and they want to, and we're going through this right now, trying to design a mechanism within our commission. If they want to cut their impervious area down, they go pervious, it's got to be an engineered plan, it's got to be, maintained afterwards and everything of that nature. So that's where we're fighting to get that under control and have it on a survey, not just, I'm going to put pervious in.
Okay.
But yeah, so when you look at that, and then when we look at a variance, we always take into account impervious coverage as part of it as well. So I mean, it's getting two looks. We don't look at the actual engineered piece to make sure it's engineered properly. That's more in your purview. We just look to see, okay, is this addition having a negative impact on the impervious coverage?
Right.
So I guess we're taking a little bit different look at it than you do, because you look at to see how it's engineered.
We look to see if it's engineered so that it's not going to be a problem with erosion or anything like that coming down the pipe.
We look at the site plan and go, okay, according to the engineer, this is what the reduction or increase is.
Right.
And if we know that wetlands has already seen it, then, I don't know, we just taken okay, that's one of the things we look at, but it's not.
I think where we're going right now, and maybe speaking a little bit in front of other people in the commission, but we're trying to make it now where if you came in and said, I'm putting impervious in, all right, and you can put impervious, anybody can put pervious in rather, anybody can put pervious in, it's a great thing. But if you're gonna try and use it later to do something that's impervious, no, it's gotta have a plan.
Right.
And a design with it.
We had a situation, I think within the last year and a half, where somebody took a grass area and just filled it with crushed stone. And we looked at it closely because the more you ride on crushed stone, the more it becomes impervious. And so their out was, well, if we put plants around it so we can't drive on it, will that satisfy you? And we sort of went along with it, but you know what? There's room between the plants and they drive on it. I think that's an issue, and it comes down to enforcement, and that's, to me, our biggest issue, whether it's singular for us or it becomes an enforcement issue where lots of things are violated with different commissions. But that's a concern. And then, like Jeff brought up when we were talking, where if you put an impervious surface, a pervious surface underneath a patio, underneath an overhang, why leave somebody sitting with dirt because they're at 19 or 18 or 15%? So, we're sort of grappling with that a little bit too.
Well, you have an ordinance as far as stone. Anything that's stone or gravel is impervious, all right? My position on it, it is not impervious, it's more pervious than lawn. Lawn hardens up, like right now you could go out and make a wheelbarrow of water on the lawn right now if you want. You dump it on the stone, it's not going to. The ground under the stone is still damp, it's gonna absorb the water, okay? But where we had one gentleman who was reported by a neighbor came in and he had, what, a 30-foot trench, 1 foot wide, going out to the lake, okay? So he had a pipe in it. He has the right to fix that pipe, dug it up, replaced the pipe. Instead of putting topsoil back down on it, he went in his driveway and put stone on it. He got a cease and desist because it's against your regulations. He increased his impervious on his yard.
With the stone, because the stone counts.
Because it was stone on top of it instead of
But
topsoil. So
you
we
know what
had-
I think that cease and desist was more about was the laying of the pipe in the first place. Like,
No, went back to the stone.
well, there was
It
no-
was impervious and a stone.
That pipe, there was no, it was a 182 Shore Drive, and it was a house constructive variance, maximum square footage of 500. You know where that is. And the plans didn't show any kind of pipe. You know, and would they have allowed to? So at least the commission saw the pipe. You guys were okay with the pipe. That
But
I
we
hear
didn't
what
go-
you say about the
We didn't
stone.
go against the pipe. We made
No.
the guy take the stone out
But
and
the
put
remedy
topsoil in.
to remove the
Right.
cease and desist was to put grass over.
I think-
Instead of pipe.
Right,
That
exactly.
was the
And
remedy.
take that point one step further. If you've got somebody with a big crushed stone driveway,
There's the difference right
Yeah.
there. That's where I'm
Yeah.
going.
and they want to asphalt
They
it,
want asphalt it,
there's
now
no
it's
impervious
impervious.
change
But
because of the
this-
stone regulation.
This is where the
And-
problem with it is. Okay, so you make this guy take out 30 square foot of stone.
And it was no wider than this table,
I can
or
go down-
half the width of this table.
I can go down to Lowe's, buy 15 bags of white stone and put it around my trees. What's the difference?
Right.
That needs work.
Huh?
No doubt, the gravel
Yeah,
being
it's an
considered
issue that
impervious
should be
because
adjusted.
it's
They
just
have to be
blanket.
adjusted.
But it definitely could use a fine tuning. It was added to protect the whole scope, you know, maximum impervious surface. Because if it's in a driveway, they go through, they get their approvals and they pave it. But if it's not in a driveway, they're not gonna be paving their back lawn.
Right, but it's a driveway or a sidewalk. But there
Yeah.
was another instance where the gentleman was putting a deck on. The deck is 2 feet off the ground. The commission made him remove all of the stone. It was all stone.
Underneath it.
Underneath a 2 foot high deck. Now he has under his deck mildew, moss, mold. Grass, you know, grass won't grow because of the deck being on it. But, so there's gotta be some kind of an improvement to this regulation.
Yeah, cause that doesn't make sense.
You know what I mean? It's-
Just before we go, can we introduce ourselves, because there are people here that I don't know, so, and where we're from?
Yeah, why don't you start right around?
Good.
Gary Paganelli,
Inland Wetlands.
Lakeland Wetlands.
Steve Molinelli, Inland Wetlands.
Jeff Lippincott, Willie Platt, planning and zoning.
George Clausen, Planning and Zoning.
Charlene Lavoy, Planning and Zoning.
Ron Doe, ZBA.
Paul Marino, ZBA.
Pam Columbia staff.
Felix Wyatt, Planning and Zoning.
John Reed, planning and zoning. Troy Lemaire, planning and zoning.
Okay, thank you.
One more.
John Pollock, ZBA.
Okay.
And then we've got guests, Jim Rollins.
Public Works.
Everybody
Thank
knows
you.
you.
Okay, so from our regulations, we'll work on that, and if we got questions and so forth.
One thing that confuses me is like, we're just talking about the crushed stone, but isn't part of pervious pavers having crushed stone under them?
He's having a foot of crushed stone.
So how come when it's down there, it's pervious, but when it's up here, it's not?
Well, I think the intention, this would be me speaking, the intention of it is like Pam said, I think it's, somebody comes in, builds a house, puts a driveway in, they automatically deem it impervious because they think somebody's just gonna blacktop it. Now, that's it kinda hurts anybody who wants to add on to their property or add it onto their building. I think something should be looked at. Maybe there's an affidavit they can have to sign that it can't be blacktop. You know what I mean? If they're at maximum coverage with that, they can't build a big house because you have a driveway. You know what I mean? There's gotta be there's gotta be some give or take to this. And it's gotta, it's gotta be looked at through.
I also think that we're entering, I know we are, it's been the last 2-3 years for sure, where the people that are buying onto the lake are being very aggressive in what they're asking us for.
Sure.
And, the argument is we're paying a lot of taxes and, if we can ask for it. A gentleman was here before us this past week, and he didn't want to use what he was asking for, but I'm entitled to it. And, you know, so like, we're starting to deal with those kind of issues. And like I said, people are doing nice things with their homes and want the improvement to be on the land around their homes also. So, you know, it's getting tougher to say no because of a regulation sometimes, and common sense wise, we shouldn't say no, but we tend to, or
Well-
whatever.
Steve, we had, I forget the property, but it was on the east side of the lake, came in, and I guess they gave the neighbor permission to go through their property, so they cleared trees. But everything was on these little hand-drawn things, it wasn't anything on an engineered plan. And then when it came to us, you know, we're dealing with trying to approve this thing, which had already gone through your commission, I don't know if they went ZBA or anything. But if you're using the same documents that we would use when there's some complexity to it, then what I'm trying to see us then create is, why have them come to?
Who determines where a person, an applicant, goes for approval?
Staff,
Staff.
Yeah.
So you have all the answers.
no.